You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the March 13th, 2023 meeting of the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
We'll call the meeting to order. This is a Redevelopment Commission meeting. And unfortunately, Chris did not make it tonight. So we will start out with approval, a roll call. Mr. Domkowski. Here. Ms. Dennis. Here. Ms. Deutsch.
Here.
And Mr. Warner.
Present.
And Ken Barrett, it's also present. Approval of minutes from the executive session of February 13th.
I so move that we approve the minutes
The executive
of the executive session
and the hybrid.
and the hybrid.
And I second it.
There's a motion and a second that we approve the minutes from the regular meeting and the executive session meeting of February 13th, 2023. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of claims, Skylar?
This is a claims docket for March 13th, 2023. We had payroll for February 2023, CDBG reimbursables, staff and commissioners. From our operating account, we had Great American Financial for copier fees for 2023. I'm sorry, for March, copier fees for March 2023. Saranac Law Offices for legal retainer for February 2023. Out of our North TIF, we have Barnes and Thornburg for legal services regarding Boxham arbitration ending 1/31/23. Butler Fairman Seifert for Washington Park Boulevard streetscaping. Haas and Associates for Lafayette Barker storm sewer modification. HDR Engineering for station block TOD modifications. NIPSCO for electric service at 1215 East 2nd Street, which is the final bill. Plush, Shadley, Rector, and Braun for legal services. Trail Creek Properties expenses and advances. Primera for street conversion plus engineering services. Saranac Law Offices for legal services in the North TIF. In our South TIF, we had Haas and Associates for South TIF connectivity improvements. Saranac Law Offices for legal services in the South TIF for February of 2023.
Okay, any questions on the claims?
I move for approval of claims for March 13th, 2023.
I second the motion.
There's a motion and a second that we approve the claims of March 13th, 2023. This roll call vote. Okay. All right. Ms. Dennis?
Aye.
Ms. Deutsch?
Aye.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Motion passes. All right, the engineering agreement with Primera for two-way street. I'm sorry, approval of financial report.
Thank you. This is our balance sheet for 01/31/2023. Cash in our operating account, we have $203,081.36. For Southside TIF account, we have $7,741,891.20. In the Southside TIF debt reserve account, we have $336,308.50. In the Southside TIF capital account, we have $16,513.47. In the North End TIF account, we have $3,541,453.85. In the Southside TIF, we have $134,906.93. In the Northeast TIF account, we have $580,000 $610.80. In the loans receivable, we have County Business Loan Fund for $133,333.00 for a total assets of $12,688,099.11.
All right, any questions on the financials?
I move that we approve the financial report for January 31st, 2023.
I second the motion.
All right, there's a motion second that we approve the financial report for January.
It was for January. It was the latest.
January 31st, 2023. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. Ms. Dennis?
Aye.
Ms. Deutsch?
Aye.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. 4-1. 4 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passes. All right, next item is the engineering agreement with Primera for the two-way street conversion. Skylar.
Brad.
Good evening, board. Brad Minnick, Premier Engineers. As you might recall, I believe it was last May, Primera undertook the study for the two-way street conversion for Franklin Street. And we're just looking to move forward with that process and go ahead with advertisement.
This is the addendum for engineering agreements. We need to add some money to your contract, correct?
For the
two-way street conversion?
For the construction inspection of it, is that what you're talking about?
Believe so.
Right. So we covered the study on the front
Yes.
end last summer.
Yes.
And when we reviewed, we discussed on Friday the scope of services for the on-call arrangement, and it provides for construction inspection.
That's right. Got it.
So that was my expectation.
So we don't need that tonight.
Correct.
Yep. Okay. I remember. I remember now. Yep.
Okay.
So sorry.
It's okay.
So we don't actually need to do that. We actually have that covered.
Right. That was on the agenda before our discussion.
Yep. Absolutely. I remember. Thank you for reminding me. And so where we're at right now, Ken, is we're dropping down to just construction for two-way street conversion.
Okay, we will approve the construction of Franklin Street two-way street conversion.
Now you can do it, Brad. Sorry about that. Sorry, I threw you off, man.
That's okay. So again, we undertook the study, basically a feasibility study last summer. And we've worked through that and we've got it to the point where we're ready for contracts. So what we're seeking from the board tonight is permission to move forward with that and advertise the construction set to potential contractors. The schedule for that would be, if approved tonight, I would take it to the Board of Public Works for Monday's meeting to keep them in the loop and seek their approval. After that, the Tuesday, the 21st, would be the first publication to the advertisers. First advertisement to the potential contractors. March 28th would be the second publication. The 31st, we would have a bidders conference. Attorney Cernick, myself, and hopefully one member of the board would be in attendance for that. Excuse me.
We don't need to fight that.
I'm getting ahead of myself. See, you shook me up.
I'll probably be there. I'm sorry.
Right. So the bidders conference would be on the 31st, and then the bid opening would be a special meeting on April 4th. And that would be with attendance by a board member if they're available. When the bids close at 1 o'clock on April 4th. And then we would come back again to the board on the 10th of April for their regularly scheduled meeting to award the contract if we had a responsive bidder. So I gave you a lot of dates there, but
Yeah, so the reason why we're folding the Board of Works into this is twofold. It's the project. Remember, we're coupling a couple projects together to get a better bid. But one of the projects, it is in the right of way, so it is in the Board of Works purview to it's their right of way, it becomes their road or their street afterwards or their sidewalk. So we want to make sure we're keeping them in the loop and getting their permission as well, and that they understand what we're doing as well through this whole process.
A question. So if all things work as scheduled, do we have an anticipated construction timeline or completion date?
so the intention is to have the construction on Franklin Street completed prior to Memorial Day to beat the holiday rush, I guess, if you will. And that would be the Friday, a week and a half before Memorial Day. I believe that's the 19th, for substantial completion for that segment. And that runs from 4th Street down to 11th Street. And I guess maybe to put your mind at ease in terms of the construction there, it's largely cosmetic, with the reverse parking stalls. So it's a lot of pavement markings, some ADA ramp configuration, but I think it's manageable. We really wanted to get it done in advance of Memorial Day. The other option would be to push it after Labor Day, so we can have the summer season without construction in that corridor. And then the remainder of the contract, the completion date would be July 31st.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I've got a few. Have you had your company had any experience with the back end parking?
Aside from what we've done with the street conversion, right on Pine Street and Washington Street several years ago, we put in the back installs there. We've done a little bit of it in Chicago. I just don't have those projects prepared for presentation tonight.
And was there a survey done among the owners?
We had good input at our workshop on February 14th for the businesses downtown. And the other supporting information we had was a study done, I believe by the US DOT. They had, I think, 576 backing related accidents in 2017, which was the most recent data available, that lent itself favorably towards rather than traditional stalls where you back out into the traffic. Those that accident history were backing accidents for traditional parking, like we have on Franklin Street present day. And we're hoping to mitigate that with back end parking towards the curb, to where the occupants can load their packages curbside on the sidewalk rather than with their back to traffic as it is present day, and then pull out, which offers them a better view of their surroundings as they pull into traffic rather than back into traffic. So that was the core part of the presentation from the 14th last month.
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't make that. I had a conflict meeting. It seems to me, and I drive down Franklin Street quite a bit, that the parking spaces are usually occupied. And I don't know if you're going to attract if you feel you're going to attract more people down there by doing this street conversion?
We hope to enhance connectivity, yes.
And Skylar, you mentioned the bike trail. How does that fit
So-
into this?
So the bike trail fits into this in that we can put sharrows on a two-way street where we can't put it on a one-way street. Currently, like we can't tell people to. We're becoming more of a biker-friendly city. We have a new trail that's going to connect us to New Buffalo, or I'm sorry, to Michigan, New Buffalo. Eventually, we're getting the funding. That funding is coming out this year. We'll be constructing our trail this year. So we're seeing more bikers. The idea is that on a one-way street, you can only go one way with traffic and a bike. If you're riding on as you're supposed to on the street, you can't go back down Franklin though. So really, we're encouraging people to come downtown on their bikes, but you're not able to really ride on Franklin Street. So you ride on the sidewalk, and it's not really supposed to ride. You're not supposed to ride a bike on the sidewalk. So with this option with reverse angle, it actually makes it very much safer for bikers and pedestrians. And we can then sharrow the street, and we can sharrow it two ways. And then we can encourage bikers to actually come downtown and ride through our downtown, eat at our shops. You might see some new bike shops pop up. You might see some things that are more related to those type of catering to those uses, if you will.
All right, so you're talking about improving the bike trail for a 5-block.
No, it's just encouraging people to come downtown and giving them the option.
I'm still not convinced. Anybody else? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move for approval of construction of the Franklin Street two-way conversion.
I'll second.
Motion is second that we approve the construction of the Franklin two-way street conversion. On the question. Ms. Dennis? Ms. Deutsch?
Aye.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
And the chair votes nay. The motion passes.
Do we need a second motion to send out and receive the bids? So, yeah, I'll go ahead and approve, move to send out and receive bids for the Franklin Street two-way street conversion.
I approve the motion.
Okay, the second motion.
Mhm.
All right, there's a motion and a second that we approve to send out bids for the Franklin Street two-way street conversion. Any additional discussion?
Quick question. Is this solely, my understanding when you and I talked is that we're letting it out for bids for the two-way street conversion, but also other aspects as related to, for example, the bus stops and some of the other work we've talked about that have been collateral damages because of the reconverting streets from the double track project.
Right, and Skylar touched on that briefly, was in an effort to bring more efficiency to the bid. You've got a lot of small projects. The street conversion here, the Elston, Buffalo, and Manhattan permanent conversion as a result of the NICD double track project. When 11th Street goes one way, converting Franklin, Buffalo, and Manhattan streets to two-way will enhance connectivity on that side of town. And then the third piece of this project is the assembly of the bus shelters. The bus shelters are already on hand, staged at the Central Services Garage. It's just a matter of pouring a foundation for them and installing them at the various 10 locations across the city.
So this is basically taking some smaller projects and trying to get a better economic value for. Well, we have concrete for bus shelters for the pads, and we have concrete for ADA ramps downtown. We might get a better, more responsive bidder that's going to come in and do all that for us, rather than saying, "Here's 10 shelters." That's mobilizing 10 times. You know, they may say, "Okay, we're downtown, so we're going to pour this shelter because it's downtown." It makes sense. There's an economic of scale there. It's kind of why we're piecing it together. But we've already approved the bus shelters. We've already got all that funding figured out. It's just a matter of accounting on the rear end to make sure that we're, paying for it appropriately, if you will.
Right. So when we built our estimate, we built it in those three phases: the bus shelters, the downtown Franklin Street project, and then the project Elston, Buffalo, and Manhattan streets, and then rolled it up into one.
Just for the record, what we're doing is we're letting bids for all of those projects, not just solely for the Franklin Street conversion. That may be the biggest one, but that's.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that's why we're going to the Board of Works too, because we actually are working in their right of way. They're involved in the bus shelter project. So we're asking them for the same reciprocating permission, if you will.
Oh, do we have an estimated amount of how much it will cost the redevelopment commission?
Right now, the total project is estimated at 500. I believe the price tag for the redevelopment commission is 2.
Right, correct, 200. So
yeah.
The breakdown is 200,000 for redevelopment commission, 250,000 for the bus shelters, and 100,000 for a total budget of 550,000.
Yeah.
The 100,000 was sidewalk.
And then the other thing you want to do when you do that, do it now or do it at the end of the meeting, is that we want to set a special meeting for April 4th at 1 o'clock in one of those, what is it, the East special, whatever the.
The planning conference room.
Planning conference upstairs, so.
All right, Scott, you have anything to add?
No, I think it's just we've been talking about these projects, and the more and more we started looking at them, they're just such smaller projects on smaller scale. It just really made sense to try to, geographically they're in similar areas. It just made sense to kind of see if we can fold them together and get a better deal. The bids right now that we've been receiving they're just high, and just trying to get the best deal we can.
Yeah. All right. Approval to send out and receive bids for Franklin Street two-way conversion. On the question. Ms. Dennis?
Aye.
Ms. Deutsch?
Aye.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Motion, it passes. Memorandum of understanding for Lake Michigan CDC. Right.
You want me to introduce it? Yeah. So on the line too, we actually have Mr. Julian Marsh, who's our director of the CDC. What this memorandum, I believe you guys have all seen the presentations of what we're trying to do with the CDC, and that we're trying to take land that's either vacant, the city owns, or redevelopment commission owns, or we may be able to get in the future, or we may own it right now. There might be funding mechanisms that we could also partner with them on. But what this memorandum of agreement does is it allows us to function it spells out how we're going to handle land, handle property, or handle funding, things of that nature, when we work with the CDC. And this is what this MOU lays out with us. It solidifies our relationship with them as a partner with respect to really affordable housing is really what it's geared toward. It's affordable housing. He actually is online. Mr. Marsh is there if you have questions for him. He's on there. I think he gave us a presentation a few months ago about how he would actually do this, or how it would function. But yes, he is there tonight.
Any questions to Mr. Marsh? Are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you.
Julian, you have any questions for us or anything of that nature?
I don't really have any questions for the members of the board. We've had several conversations in the past. I think everyone understands just how this works, and we're looking forward to work with the city to create some housing in Michigan City that can be affordable to some of the working families that are there right now and others.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Marsh?
I sent it to him earlier today, but I think what we would ask for tonight is just approval pending review by his council and then pending review of our council as well. And just to get to a final, I believe we have a good document. It's just a matter of making sure that Julian's council reviews it as well. And then we could, once we do that, we could bring it back and ask for final, or if you feel that we can just provide it to the members so they understand what we're doing. I'll leave it up to you on that one.
Yeah, I think, just what Julian said, is that maybe to correct one little thing is that the idea behind the MOU is how do we get to this point? We know what we want to get to, though, and that is the mechanism by which to have the Lake Michigan Community Development Corporation in partnership with the City of Michigan City for the purposes of affordable home ownership, whether it be single family or multifamily, to a lesser degree of rental. So we know what the outcome is. We just need to make sure. And so the idea behind the MOU, at least at this point, and then subject to their approval and any changes that need to be made, that allows us how to get there. I hope, Julian, don't embarrass me here, but I hope I've got there about 90% of the way there. But I would not claim that it's 100% perfect. And I think that we may need to have one more small discussion after you've had a chance to really digest it.
Yes, and I think the key thing here is that we do want to work closely with the city to ensure that we're creating the kind of housing that the city wants, that the folks living in the city want, and that everybody is satisfied with the outcome.
I think what we'll do, I just ask them for continue to negotiate with them, final product back.
Okay. Someone like to make a motion to that effect?
Sure. So move to continue to finalize the MOU with the Lake Michigan Community Development Corporation and the Redevelopment Commission.
I will second the motion.
There's a motion and a second that we approve continuing as negotiations between the Redevelopment Commission and the CD and the Lake Michigan CDC. On the question, Ms. Dennis? Aye. Ms. Deutsch?
Aye.
Mr. Werner?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Motion's approved. Memorandum of Understanding with the Michigan City Area Schools for temporary parking at former Elston School.
Alan, you want to introduce it and I'll kind of fill in the backstory.
With respect to the garage aspect of the transit station, the station block project, this is one of those kind of things of where NICD first told us we need 437 parking spaces by opening day of when the first double track train leaves the station. We made that clear when we entered into at least the original agreement with Flaherty and Collins that need to be ready by May 15th of 2024. And everybody was going along that way. The other proviso, though, that NICD said to us is that if you're not going to have it ready for that day, if the garage is not completed by that day, then we need to have 437 parking spaces within a quarter-mile radius of the train station. We've been informed by Flaherty and Collins that it probably won't get done until July of 2024. So now we've had to scramble and we need to come up with 437 spaces from a variety of places. The MOU that you have before you is a result of discussions that I've had with Michigan City Attorney Bill Kaminsky. And as what did I say?
Bill. Yeah.
Oh, I'm at Michigan City Area Schools. Sorry. And I said this to Bill, is in fact, I wish all negotiations were as easy as this. I wish I could get away with selling what I sold to the Michigan schools without any comment back, other than the schools are supportive of this project and they'll do anything to assist. So people who wonder about whether we need to have certain legislation that requires there to be a relationship with Michigan City or with schools corporations and redevelopment commissions, they just need to come to Michigan City and see the way we do it. Basically, what this allows for Elston schools within that quarter-mile radius, it has approximately 250 spaces that the school corporation is saying we can have as necessary for that 2.5 month period of time until such time as the garage is completed. This would be the first of several MOUs that we will do, all of which will take on this format. The only thing that would change would be the number of spaces that we would get from various property owners. But school, from my understanding, I don't know whether the school corporation has formally approved this yet, but I know in talking with Attorney Kaminsky, they will approve it. They've seen it. They like it. It's good in its format. So I think what we want to do tonight is that we want to approve this, and that the schools then, if they haven't approved it, they will turn around and approve it. And then we will have other ones moving forward within the next month or so for the property owners.
Yeah. I'd just like to add one thing. This, just to be clear, that we, even though we've pushed the finish date out, that was anticipated. We did this as a plan B. This has always kind of been anticipated because of the time frame of construction. I just want to be clear, we didn't miss a date or anything like that. This was always contemplated from the time we actually went into negotiations with FTA, who allowed us to transition from just a garage to a mixed-use building. So we've always anticipated this.
Any other comments?
This MOU was approved at our last school board meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Domkowski.
Question. I see that the item 7 says the MOU shall terminate on July 31st unless further agreed to extend same by parties without further notice. So if the garage isn't open July 31st, we can still continue to extend the agreement.
That is the idea. I'm really hoping that it's done by the 31st.
I've done enough projects that, yeah.
That's the 31st of 2024. Just not.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to at least have a time frame, though, to work toward. If we just left it open ended, of course it would get done whenever. But yeah, I'm hoping it gets done then.
Thank you.
I move that we approve the MOU with the Michigan City Area Schools for temporary parking at Elston School.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second that we approve the temporary parking at Elston School within the MOU with the Michigan City Area Schools. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Miss, excuse me, Miss Dennis,
Aye.
Miss Deitch,
Aye.
Mr. Warner,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. MOU is approved. All right, authorization for Global Engineering to submit annual NDOT inspection report at I-94 and the 421 overpass.
Tonight we have Mr. Jeff Ullman with us. Thank you, Jeff, for being here.
No problem.
Really just appreciate you being here for this. Can you just kind of give us an overview of what we're doing? We do it. I know we do it every year, but just give us an overview.
Sure. Hey, good evening, commissioners. I'm Jeff Ullman of Global Engineering. This is part of the joint maintenance agreement that was agreed to between the city of Michigan City and NDOT when the aesthetic improvements were done for the bridge. And this is basically an annual inspection that's part of that agreement that we have to send to NDOT by March 31st. That basically shows that the city's actively maintaining the bridge and identifies any issues that need to be maintained. That's part of the agreement. NDOT has, as part of the agreement, they just note that anything that's unsafe or they have the right to to do construction or change things if it's not maintained. So it's basically just part of the agreement that shows that Michigan City's still interested in having the improvements and they are maintaining it. So it's just something that we do just every year to just keep on top of everything and to see if there are any lights out or if any colors are fading or any cracks are developing or anything like that. There hasn't been anything too severe over the past few years that we've been doing it since 2014 when the construction was done. Haven't been anything majorly significant that have been there, but we continue to every year put forth the report to make sure that everything's still in working order. So this is just the continuation of that.
Do you think we can get it done by the 31st?
Yeah, it shouldn't be any problem. Usually it takes it takes about a day to go out there and walk through and go through everything. And we usually drive through there at night a few times around to make sure all the lights are on and everything. And then we just put together a report and so yeah, it's just at the purview of the commission if you'd like us to go ahead and produce it and then also submit it to NDOT.
I move for approval for the authorization of global engineering for our annual NDOT inspection report.
I second the motion.
There's a motion second that we authorize Global Engineering to submit an annual NDOT inspection report for the I-94 and 421 overpass. Any additional discussion?
Just then for the record, it's their proposal is they will complete this for $4,500.
In the amount of $4,500. On the question, Ms. Dennis?
Aye.
Ms. Deutsch?
Aye.
Mr. Warner?
Abstain.
And the chair votes aye. Their approval of Global Engineering proposal for surveying work.
So before you tonight, are you going to represent this one too?
Yeah, I can try to answer any questions.
Okay. You're like, I didn't know her name. Okay. So what I've asked of Global, we have some things that we need to accomplish with respect to the station block and the bonding that we're going to be doing with that. And there's some other surveying that we need to do related to the bus shelter program as well, with a new shelter that we're going to put in at the Housing Authority. So with that, we need some legal descriptions and some survey work done. There's also a survey in here in your packet that deals with some land that we have a few years ago. We acquired the rest of the land between Spring Street and the Boulevard 6th and 5th Street, or 6th and 5th Street. So we know there's still alleyways there. There's a lot of small parcels, things of that nature, but this would help us have a better understanding of what's there. It'll also help us have a better understanding of if we need to reconfigure that parcel in the future. And as we talk to developers moving forward, they ask for surveys and survey work and things of that nature, what has been done in the past. This gives us a product to give to them rather than me drawing something. The bulk of the survey work in here is really a lot of it's more related to I've kind of hierarchied it out in here of working with the station block first, our bonding, making sure that we're getting all those legal descriptions, things of that nature. I've talked to Shem about that hierarchy as well. So that's what this is. The proposal is for total services is $40,500. Another piece of this included in this would be Shem helping us with subdividing the property at the station block as well, a new subdivision, cleaning up those parcels.
Right. Yeah, I have the copy of it with me. You can see on Beacon just the number of. I mean, even those two blocks alone, there's multiple parcels in there. So
absolutely, and it's not there's some easements in there as well. Like Nicky has an easement. We were granted an easement to extend out over Pond Street. There's a lot of things going on there that we just want to make sure we're getting on paper. Also, one of the things is that you guys did the improvements that were put in there in the past. So it may, Shim's told me, well, we already have some survey work that we've already done there. We know where things are. So I think it makes sense from that standpoint.
All right, any other questions of Jeff?
I'll move for approval of the global engineering proposal for surveying work in the amount of $40,500 for the work that's proposed in the document.
I second the motion.
There's a motion and a second that we approve global engineering proposal for surveying work in the amount of $40,500. Any additional discussion? Hearing none. Call for the vote. Ms. Dennis,
Aye.
Ms. Deutsch,
Aye.
Mr. Warner.
Aye.
The chair votes aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for being here.
South TIF Connectivity Improvement Project update and approvals.
I believe Sylvia was supposed to be here tonight, but she had a death in her family all of a sudden today, so she's not with us. So I'm going to try to muddle through this. I don't know exactly what we need to get approved. We have the addendum that we got from COSM and DLZ. It's for I forget what the total cost was of it. This is to get our legal descriptions done, and it actually is some more survey work as well. I think there's survey work in it.
The appraisal services for 3,400. I'm sorry, appraisal services for appraisal services in total for 31,400. Right-of-way acquisition services, 57,200. Surveying services, 94,000, and environmental site assessment, 26,100. So the total addendum is for $177,300.
Can I see it real quick? So this gets us our appraisals. As you know, we're trying to build a new road down there. So we would have to do some appraisal work. Well, and the other thing I'll be clear about this is if we need appraisals. That's kind of how we set this up, is if we need appraisals. We may not need all the appraisals.
And I think if we do approve this addendum, it would be no more than or not to exceed that dollar amount.
Yeah. Just give me a second. So, quick math. Sorry. And 17. Sorry, I'm just adding up, making sure. So I think we're going from an estimated fee. DLZ proposes to estimated fee of $118,950 to $170. So we're adding $58,350 to it from the original.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Yeah. 58,350. Yes, that's the additional. Sorry, I should have done this earlier, but I wasn't. 58,350 is the total. So we're going from 118,950 to 177,300. Yes, we've already approved 118,950. I'm sorry, $118,950, and we're going to $177,300. So we're approving 58,000
additional.
Absolutely.
Okay.
On a not to exceed. No.
All right, any other questions on the connectivity improvement project approval?
You need us to approve the addition.
Yes, it would be helpful. And keep in mind, we will do some of this is as needed. Like we may not have 17 parcels we need to do. We may only have 15 that we need to do because Alan is working with the owners down there for acquisitions and things of that nature.
Okay, so I move for approval. I move to for the addition of not to exceed $58,350 for the South Tiff Connectivity Improvement Project.
Question on the motion, clarification. Was the improvement of the existing roadway section from in front of Menards South already included in that previous approval?
When you say improvements, are you talking about resurfacing?
Resurfacing, yeah.
No, none of that's included because we already own that. Theoretically, this is really for the stuff we don't own. But also it isn't. This work that he would be doing would be working with the owners, working with Alan on things of that nature. It's not really a construction, if you will, at this time. It will be soon, hopefully.
All right, the motion awaits a second.
I'll second the motion.
There's a motion and a second that we approve an additional $58,350 for the DLZ contract, connectivity improvement. South Tiff connectivity improvement project.
Even for you to say.
Any additional discussion? Ms. Dennis,
Aye.
Ms. Deutsch,
Aye.
Mr. Warner,
Aye.
the chair votes aye.
Should I give a quick update on it though? Like what we're doing with Town Center Drive, things of that nature? That'd be okay. So with Town Center Drive, just for update, as the public probably knows, the city does not own all of Town Center Drive. We only own a small portion of it. So what we're doing right now is we're working with the owners who actually own it, who would be the respective stores there that own it, to make sure they understand that they own it and if they still want to own it. But the goal is that to get it into the city's possession so that we can then add it to our list of roads, and then it could potentially go into the CCMG projects. We can do a lot more with it. We can actually improve it. So that's just some history and some things that we're working on right now to make sure we're doing the things we should be doing and protecting the public.
Okay, Alan, you had an additional approval for that?
Last summer, I think in August meeting, we first started talking about the right-of-way aspects geared towards pedestrian safety on 421. There was discussion about incentivizing property owners to join this by giving them $500. That was never approved by the commission. When I started getting involved in that aspect of the project, I never mentioned the $500, and we got approval for 8 of the 10. There are 2 that are still outstanding. But the the Indiana Retail Stores LLC, apparently a formal offer to them was made that we're going to give you $500 in exchange for the easement. So I think we're stuck with that. It was our agent, and while he may not have been authorized to provide that $500, he is our agent as a matter of law. We're good for that. So he's going to give us the easement. He just wants his $500 as well. So what I'm asking for tonight is approval of $500 in incentive payment for the easement and in front of the Indiana Retail Store located at 4421 Franklin Street.
I move for approval for the $500 for the transfer or purchase.
Just for the $500 to agree to the easement in front of that
Okay,
building.
so $500 to agree to the easement in front of the 4421 Franklin parcel.
I will second the motion.
There's a motion second that we approve the appropriation of $500 for an easement to the property as designated. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. Ms. Dennis,
Aye.
Ms. Deutsch,
Aye.
Mr. Warner,
Aye.
and chair votes aye. Motion's happened. All right, station block update and approvals.
Tonight, I don't have a lot of approvals. We are still working for our bonding. We're working with bond counsel right now to get all of those things set up. But really, hence the hiring of the survey work, that really, some of that survey work will have to go to the bond counsel as well for legal descriptions, things of that nature. One of the things I would like to ask for approvals tonight is I would like to ask formally from the board for approval of to move forward with vacation of the station block alleyway so that we can then begin to clean up that, those parcels, basically just cleaning up all those parcels, all the individual parcels there and getting it prepared for new construction. Okay.
Okay, we'll take a motion for the vacation of the alleyways on the station block.
I move that we approve the vacation of the alleyway for the station block project.
So,
I second it.
Motion is second that we approve the vacation of the alleyways on the station block between Franklin and Pine Street. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, Ms. Dennis,
Aye.
Ms. Deutsch,
Aye.
Mr. Warner,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. My meeting's fixed up. All right, we had another approval.
Two more things we need to do down on the station block. So, we're moving forward with this, and now we're getting to the point of where we just have these statutorily required, and important, but they're also comparatively easy, I think would be the right word to say it. We have to, as we do with any kind of property that we own, when we're going to anticipate disposing of that property to a non-government entity, as we are doing here, we need to do a public offering. And as part of that public offering, we also need the commission's authorization to proceed with appraisals, particularly once Global Engineering has completed the new survey work and the new plats that are down there for the station block. So two requests for authorization. One is for to begin to put together and then proceed with the public offering of the station block property. That would be one. And then the second one is to actually approve two appraisals for the station block property in anticipation of ultimately disposing of that. Two separate motions.
First one is the vacation of the alley.
No, we did.
Oh. Sit down.
Public offering. Station.
Public offering. Of the parcels that we are surveying so that we can put them together collectively, right? And make two parcels. So, council, how would you like us to word that?
Just a motion to the effect that the commission is authorizing putting the station block property out for public offering
Out for public.
in anticipation of disposing of the property pursuant to the double track project.
So moved. Mitchell, Debbie.
I will second.
All right, there's a motion and a second that we approve the public offering of the station block portions. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Dennis,
Aye.
Ms. Deutsch,
Aye.
Mr. Warner,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye.
And then the other one will be an authorization to go forth with getting appraisals for the 2 new parcels once the surveying work has been completed.
Right. So I move that we move forward with the appraisals of the 2 parcels that will be a result of the survey that we will be getting completed.
I second the motion.
This motion is second that we approve the appraisals of the 2 remaining parcels in the station block. Any addition? Ms. Dennis,
Aye.
Ms. Deutsch,
Aye.
Mr. Warner,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Your beautiful site updates and approvals.
We should have a new addendum to our agreement coming in, hopefully tonight for review and approval at our next meeting. I would also say that they're still working through their state, hopefully authorization from the state for some tax credits. We should know more in the next 30 days or so.
Do you want approval for us to move forward with the workshop or? Okay.
Any other questions on the station block? Comments?
Yeah.
You're beautiful.
You're beautiful.
All right, report by legal counsel.
The only other thing to report tonight is that there was an executive session before the regular meeting. No items were discussed that are not permitted by the open door law. No decisions were made. No action was taken.
I was gonna ask. Yeah,
We need to do it sometime.
let's do it right now. Under your, let's just, yeah.
Just to follow up on what Brad was talking about before, we do want to schedule this for a special meeting. We do want to schedule a special meeting for the sole purpose of opening up bids for the street conversion and other projects in the downtown area, as well as for the bus shelters. We want to schedule that for the day that the bids would be, the day and the deadline for bids being submitted of April 4th at noon. The special meeting then would occur at 1 o'clock. And that would be held in the council chambers, not the council, but the meeting rooms, conference room, one of the conference rooms upstairs. Right.
Did you have anything to add, Scott?
No. Sorry, wait a minute. Okay.
We'll entertain a motion that we approve the special meeting.
Yeah, we probably need a motion.
Oh, so we do need a motion for a special meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I move that we schedule our special meeting for April 4th at 1 p.m. in the planning conference room for the this is for our bid opening for the proposed projects discussed earlier.
I will second the motion.
There's a motion and a second that we approve a special meeting for April 4th at 1 o'clock to approve for the bid openings of the Primera contract. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, Ms. Dennis,
Aye.
Ms. Deutsch,
Aye.
Mr. Warner,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Okay, report by directors.
Okay, I have a couple of things I need some authorization for. One of them is to permission to work with Debbie and myself to set up a workshop meeting. I don't have dates yet. I would have to probably poll to see when people are available. I poll council as well, just to make sure we're getting a good group of people together. But this would be a workshop to deal with the station block bonding. We would do this in April. I'm anticipating April, with an anticipation of bringing it back to Redevelopment Commission for approval here in May, and then moving forward back to council thereafter. Is that appropriate, or do I need to have a date? I don't have the dates yet. Correct. With city council. Sorry, I should have been very specific. Yep. So it'd be a joint workshop with city council and the redevelopment commission, and our bonding attorneys and anyone else that we need there, Flaherty and Collins, etc. Yeah.
Yes.
I move that we approve a joint workshop between the City Council and the Redevelopment Commission and all other people that need to be there. The concentration of the meeting would be on the station block bonding. Meeting will be held sometime in April, date to be determined.
I second that.
There's a motion and a second. And we arrange a special meeting, special workshop with the Redevelopment Commission and Council for items pertaining to the station blocks. Any additional discussion? Ms. Dennett,
Aye.
Ms. Deutsch,
Aye.
Mr. Werner,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye.
Okay. Actually, I only have one other thing, because we did the alley, so I marked that off. So we already got that permission. Well, you wouldn't know it today after all the snow out there that's flowing around, but it's that time again for landscaping. So I would like permission to move forward with putting out, getting quotes for landscaping contracts for this year. I will be adding some things to the contract this year, because I think that we need to take care of a piece of land that is ours, and it would probably be more pickup of things rather than mowing of things, but it will at least be caretaken, if you will. So it's a little different, but that's the only addition to it. Other than that, we still have the same pieces of land that we have. We're getting rid of hopefully one big piece of land soon, but we actually have gotten rid of the 1215 East 2nd Street, so we won't be mowing and taking care of that this year as well. So that's good for us. But that's what I'm asking for, is just to go out and get quotes, and that way we don't get behind the gun when everything starts growing, which it will.
I move we allow planning director to move forward. We're getting quotes for landscape.
I'll second the motion.
There's a motion and a second that we authorize the director to get bids for the landscaping, quotes for the landscaping of the Redevelopment Commission's parcels. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Dennis,
Aye.
Ms. Deutsch,
Aye.
Mr. Warner,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye.
I don't think I have anything else tonight. There's just a lot of things going on right now in the city, so it's a good time to be in Michigan City. A lot of construction going on, a lot of projects coming down the pipeline, so just hang in there and we'll get them to the finish line.
Public comment.
Tommy Polavic, 1316 Ohio Street. I have a suggestion for the Town Center Drive. I know whatever you guys have been doing so far just hasn't worked. Let's be honest with it. So, at all possible, we can just have that subdivided, and then the various owners could just quit clean deed that over to the Redevelopment Commission, and you take ownership of that. Like the Cleveland Avenue extension, we can put our fresh set of blacktop on it, whatever, get a nice smooth road for the public and the people who go shop at those businesses. And I think it would be people do come to Michigan City and see that, and that's just not good. Go down to our gold standard cities: Carmel, Fishers, Noblesville, Zionsville, Columbus. You don't have that there. Let's just try to do a little bit better. Maybe get an agreement with the Indiana Department of Corrections and have the, get a trustee crew out there and pick up some litter on some of your properties that you own. This is just my little suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we're moving that direction, Tom.
That's actually what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to have it subdivided, but have a quick claim deed it over to the free RDC. Real simple.
Any other public comment? All right, director's comments.
We did that.
The comments online. Okay.
Any comments from our directors, commissioners?
Not going into the other part.
No.
I have nothing this evening there. I have to always look in the snow and go away so we can get started. Because it's gonna be a good season, I think.
Can I say one thing? Thank you, Tom and the school board for the easement, for the easement. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
There wasn't any problem with the discussion at all. Thank you. I appreciate it. Trust me.
Any other commissioners? All right, next meeting date is scheduled for April 10th. And with that, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move for adjournment.
I will second.
Motion is second. We're adjourned.